Welcome back to News First on PNC. History for the CNMI yesterday. CNMI Governor Ralph Torres and Congressman Gregorio Sablan rolled out enhancements to the Nutrition Assistance Program. CNMI correspondent Thomas Manglotnya reports.
After 3 years of planning and negotiating, Congressman Sablan and CNMI Governor Torres announcing enhancements to the Nutrition Assistance Program for the next 3 years.
So not only have we increased 39% the amount per household, but we've increased the amount of household, the number of households.
A 39% increase accompanied with an increase of households covered from 2,600 to 3,300 this year. Recipients receive increased benefits immediately, the result of the approved enhancement plan the CNMI submitted to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Food and Nutrition Service. Congressman Sablan notes how this affects residents.
People in our community who struggle to make ends meet on minimum wage will go to the jobs with stomachs full and ready to put in a full day's work.
The basis of issuance varies through the islands as cost of living differs. Increased benefits for a household of 4 on Saipan from $515 is now $748. On Tinian, $568 to $804, and both Rhoda and Northern Islands increased from $719 to $957. What is described as a debit card system will also eliminate paper coupons and lessen wait times. An automatic deposit will be made.
You can go to any stores that register and you can use the credit card as purchasing your goods. So you no longer be walking around with your family with coupons.
Both the governor and congressman emphasizing that while there are plans to further absorb the Marianas into the national program, the assistance is meant to alleviate financial burdens so that recipients can be healthy to contribute to the community. Governor Torres reminding the public the enhancements are limited.
In 3 years, you know that's going to be reduced. Please come out and let's help you get you into our workforce. That's our goal.
Reporting for the Pacific News Center, I'm Tomas Manglotnya.
The U.S. Attorney's Office has a different account of what went down the day its technicians tried to open files related to the Mark Smith case. Smith and his friend Glenn Wong are facing Section 8 fraud charges, accused of conspiring to create a bogus sale of Smith's properties to Wong in order to avoid any conflict of interest charges since Smith was GUAM's legal counsel. Trial is supposed to start next week, Tuesday, but Smith and Wong's legal counsels want the case dismissed since they have been unable to open discovery files. The defense says they've tried, even with the assistance of the prosecution's technician, but cannot access the digital files. However, the U.S. Attorney's Office says the files only mirror images of the actual discovery and were only provided to avoid any claim of manipulation or alteration. In their opposition to the motion for dismissal, the U.S. Attorney's Office says they went beyond their obligation to provide such documents, and it's implied that it's not their fault the defense lacks the sophistication to examine the material. You can read their opposition online at thepacificnewscenter.com. Senator Mike Nicholas has introduced a bill to legalize electronic signs on Guam. Bill 95 would allow authorized owners of electronic signage who have been granted variances by the Guam Land Use Commission or who have been issued a notice of action from the Guam Land Use Commission on or before May 15th of 2017 to continue to operate as long as all of their business license requirements have been met. Senator Nicholas says that he's trying to prevent GovGuam from being liable for any damages it may cause to businesses that have been operating electronic signs for many years.
The Bank Pacific sign that is electronic, that was up since before we were born, it falls into that very same category. And so because we have a situation where the government was granting authorization to businesses and those businesses were contractually obligating themselves as a result of that authorization, we've created a liability situation that we need to mitigate.
Senator Nicholas says that his bill would mitigate this liability while GovGuam is working on updating its electronic sign laws. Big John Tatautau, known as the Carabao Man, passed away in mid-January while fighting an illness, and yesterday the Guam Visitors Bureau paid homage to him with a special half-a-day pledge ceremony at Fort Soledad, where Big John famously gave free Carabao rides to locals and tourists alike. PNC's Donna De Jesus has the details on this tribute.
Less than 5 months after the passing of Big John Tatautau, the Guam Visitors Bureau unveiled a display honoring the Carabao Man. GVB held a special ceremony at Fort Soledad in Umatic. President and CEO Nate DeKnight tells PNC how GVB paid tribute to a man who was considered a friend to locals and visitors.
Of course, Big John is an icon on Guam, and when he passed in January, GVB, we definitely wanted to honor his memory and his legacy. He's done so much for our local people and visitors and really represents what the Hafaday spirit is all about.
GVB presented a special Hafaday Pledge ambassador coin to Big John's family. His niece Geraldine was one of the family members to take the Hafaday Pledge in his honor as they carry on his Hafaday spirit.
It's who he was as an ambassador of the South, producing culture and whatnot. Friendly, funny, loving, and he welcomed everybody. Well, nobody's taking over, but there is a close friend of the family, Jason and his son Nathan, that are taking care of his carabaos now. We're just going to continue to keep him in our hearts. His spirit still lives on.
Big John was known for offering free rides on Betsy his carabao at Fort Soledad. The Fort Soledad Heart was unveiled with a portrait of Big John and Betsy painted by local artist Josh Agerstrand.
I was experimenting with trying to paint like a kind of something that's a more contemporary, really loud colors, and instead it kind of helps present the energy of him rather than a literal image of what he looked like, but trying to show the joy and the spirit that he had. Obviously, in a memorial piece, you want to have everyone be uplifted and not be getting too down, you know.
It's a great way to honor a man who promoted local culture and showcased the Chamorro heritage. Betsy was speechless. Reporting for PNC, I'm Donna De Jesus.
The proceeds from this year's Pancakes for Charity event yielded an $8,000 check to benefit Chief Harao Academy. Last month, the Personal Finance Center hosted their 7th annual Pancakes for Charity event, serving breakfast to about 500 people. This year, the sold-out event successfully raised around $3,000 more than last year's event. According to the Academy's founder, Anne Maria Arceo, the charitable investments will go towards preserving the Chamorro language as well as helping purchase invaluable learning resource materials for the school.
We promise that it's going to be one of the best investments that personal finance could ever make in their lifetime. We promise that. And so that's the commitment we make. With this money, we'll be able to produce more fluent speakers here on Guam, produce more fluent families, and young adults who have a longing to learn their language and their culture.
Over the past 7 years, Frank Camacho from PFC said their company has contributed to several nonprofits like Harao Academy and will continue to seek more organizations that will benefit from these donations. All right, let's check in with Chelsea now for the latest on the island's weather.
Happy day and welcome to your PNC weather forecast brought to you by First Bank and Woodward Memorial. I'm Chelsea Cruz. It's that time of the week again where everybody's bombarding me with questions. What is the weather going to be like this weekend? And I get it. You all have a bunch of super cool outdoor stuff planned with all your families and friends, and I'm probably just going to be a homebody all day. But you know what? That's the lifestyle of my choice. So let's check out the weather forecast for your weekend. There it is, and you're in luck. Bright and sunny skies are in store for us for the entire weekend, with tonight's weather being partly cloudy just because it can't be mostly sunny because there's no sun at night, but it still means roughly the same thing. Showers, if any do occur, are only going to be isolated, so you needn't worry too much about prepping for rain. East winds are back to 10 to 15 miles per hour across the island, and good thing too because people got things to do and places to go this weekend, and in that high heat of 90 degrees, they're going to seek some comfort in those breezes. Now that wraps up the weather for this evening. It's going to be hot out, so keep yourself, your kids, and your plants hydrated. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your Friday.
PNC Weather Report is brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. And GUAM Windward Memorial.